Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on match day. Finally, Arsenal are back in action after the international break, playing Crystal Palace tonight at the Emirates. First of all, little disclaimer, apologies, I'm not going to be able to go to the match. The family issues that I was having before the international break, which meant I couldn't go to Brighton, still ongoing, means I need to be close to home, basically. So I'm not going to be able to make it up to the Emirates tonight. Hopefully I'll be there for the Villa game on Friday, but it's all a bit touch and go at the moment. So I won't be there, but I will be covering the game, as always, from home. So I'll still be around. I'll still be giving my opinion, still be writing stuff on Goal about it. So please do look out for all the match reaction and press conference reactions, stuff like that. But yeah, I won't be at the game, so I won't be able to do the live stream before the match in terms of the team news reaction and the warm-ups like I usually do. So apologies about that. But anyway, still very, very exciting. Arsenal back. It feels like ages now, doesn't it, since that Brighton game? Bit of a disappointing way to go into the international break, that performance. Still got themselves a point, but it wasn't a very good performance against Brighton. So after those 3 wins, it was a bit of a downer going into the national break. Hopefully they can get themselves back up and running tonight with a big, big game against Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira, the legend that is Patrick Vieira, returning to Arsenal tonight for the first time as a manager with his Crystal Palace side. Hopefully he, after getting what's going to be a very, very good reception, no doubt about that, hopefully his side tanks pretty much, and Arsenal roll them over, beat them 3 or 4-0 and send them back to South London. But we'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. Palace haven't been too bad in the last couple of games under Vieira, and Arsenal struggled to break teams down that are going to sort of sit deep and then hit on the counter-attacks, which Crystal Palace are perfect at doing. Crystal Palace, so they have a record of having some decent results recently at Arsenal. So going to be a tough game. Both these games this week actually are going to be against teams that really like to sit back and counter-attack in terms of Palace and Villa. So they're going to be dangerous ones for Arsenal at home. So they're going to need to be bang on it if they want to get 6 points from 6, which they certainly do want to do. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the game, go over a couple of the big sort of decisions facing Mikel Arteta. I think the first one, I think now the way the team is and the way the squad is after the transfer window, it's very, very settled. You kind of know what Arteta's going to do now, but there's always like 2 things, especially with Granit Xhaka out injured now. There's always 2 big issues going into the game. What do you do? What do you do in terms of formation? Do you go 4-2-3-1 or do you go to 4-3-3? And that always kind of revolves around 2 figures, and that is basically, do you pair Sambi alongside Thomas Partey in midfield, or do you start Nicolas Pepe and go for the sort of 4-3-3 and have Odegaard and Smith Rowe in front of Thomas Partey, and then can play Pepe out wide with Saka and Aubameyang? They're the 2 big things. I think with Nicolas Pepe today, it's going to be really interesting to see what he does. Do you start with Pepe and go perhaps the more attacking, certainly on paper, the more attacking kind of formation there against a Palace team, like I said, who aren't going to really commit massively? They're going to look to play on the counter-attack, so you'd expect Arsenal are going to have a lot of the ball. So do you try and get an extra attacker in there, or do you still go with a 4-3-3, pair Sambi and the 4-2-3-1 and pair Sambi and Thomas Partey and go with Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe behind Aubameyang? It's going to be a really intriguing one. I think we saw it with England actually during the international break. Gareth Southgate kind of tried to go the more attacking route and go with the 4-3-3 and play the extra attacker, which Arsenal could do tonight, but it didn't work. England weren't more attacking. In fact, they were poorer because the formation they knew pretty well, and they weren't playing it, and it just didn't work out, did it? And they ended up drawing that game 1-1 during the international break. And it could be a similar thing for Arsenal. We've seen him do it. He did it against Burnley with the 4-3-3. Did it in the second half against Norwich at home against a team that was really sort of sitting deep. So it's going to be an intriguing one, this one. You know, how much is he going to use that system? Do you go 4-3-3 or do you go 4-2-3-1? Let me know what you think. Should Nicolas Pepe start tonight? Do you bring Nicolas Pepe in for this one? Go for the extra firepower. Go for the extra goal threat. And let's face it, there is, aside from Aubameyang, there is no bigger goal threat in the Arsenal squad, you would say, than Nicolas Pepe when it comes to goals and assists. His stats sort of speaks for themselves over the last couple of seasons. Or do you go with the same team that you played, or the same formation that you played against Tottenham in the last home game, when, although you didn't have the extra attacker in the team, you played with that fluency going forward where you ripped Tottenham apart, had Smith Rowe, Saka and Odegaard all rotating and switching positions. You know, Smith Rowe was great on the left, Saka was great on the right. Do you go with that again, or do you go with Nicolas Pepe and sort of not risk sort of upsetting the apple cart, so to speak, and in terms of the formation, but maybe sort of throw a couple of things out of kilter? Going to be an interesting one, I think. And they're the two big decisions, I'd say, for me, is what you do with a system, and what do you do with Nicolas Pepe? Do you start him, or do you leave him on the bench and stick with the 4-2-3-1? Let me know. Fire away in those comments below what you think Mikel should do. I'm going to go through my predicted 11 at the end of this game, where I'm not going to say what. It's not going to be the 11 that I think they should go for. It's the 11 I think Mikel will go for. Personally, I think for this one, I'd bring in Nicolas Pepe. I'd go 4-3-3 and have a go with that one personally, and have the extra goal threat. Have Thomas Partey sitting deep, because I just don't think, when you look at that Palace team, I don't think, they're going to be playing out and out on the counter. That it's not, Arsenal are going to have an awful lot of the ball, and you're going to want to break down that low block. So I think you kind of want as many goal threats on there as you possibly can. So I'd go 4-3-3 and Nicolas Pepe to start. But like I said, let me know what you think. Obviously, Patrick's return, the legend that is Patrick Vieira. Can't wait to hear it. It's really annoying I'm not going to be there to be able to hear the actual reception the Emirates gives him, but I'll be able to hear it on TV. But just what a legend. Can't wait to see him back, and it's certainly going to add a little bit of narrative to the game. I've spoken about it as past. I wrote a story that's on Goal, actually went out this morning, sort of looking at the whole Vieira and Arteta dynamic, and it's going to be really interesting. I think Vieira could become really uncomfortable for Mikel Arteta this season if he does well with Palace, and obviously that's a big if, and it depends how Mikel does with Arsenal as well. If Arteta does really well with Arsenal, then you're not going to really be too bothered about what happens with Crystal Palace and Patrick Vieira. But if Arteta is struggling to turn things around and Arsenal is still floating around in that 10th, 9th, 8th sort of position, and Vieira is showing signs of getting Palace playing decent football and doing well over there, then just because of the fact of who he is, it just feels like he could become a really sort of uncomfortable presence for Mikel. He's closer in proximity than he's ever been now. He's in the Premier League for the first time. He's in London. And all the Arsenal fans are going to be able to have a good look at what Patrick Vieira is doing. And just given who he is, his stature, the legendary status at the club. I mean, I thought it was interesting during the Norwich game earlier in the season that it was Arsenal, were bottom of the league at that point. Arteta hadn't won a game, had lost the first three. And the first few minutes of the Norwich game, you just had Vieira's song ringing around the Emirates. And it wasn't a dig at Arteta or anything like that. It was just because Palace just smashed Tottenham 3-0. And everyone had been watching it on the screens before the game, waiting for the kickoff in the Arsenal match. So everyone was kind of celebrating that fact and celebrating Vieira getting his first win. But it just still felt like a really interesting moment when you got your manager standing there in his technical area and yet the whole stadium singing another Premier League manager's name. And like I said, it's not a dig at Arteta, but it was just an interesting dynamic, I think. And I just thought it was a little sign as well of, if Vieira continues to do well with Palace, his presence in the Premier League could become difficult and uncomfortable for Mikel Arteta. It's certainly one I think that's going to be quite an interesting sort of side note to this story, just given who Patrick Vieira is. Team news-wise, looking pretty good for Arsenal. Obviously, there was a little bit of a doubt over Gabriel Martinelli ahead of the game. Mikel said that he had picked up a sort of slight knock in training, but Martinelli did train on Saturday with the squad at London Colney. And you would expect, I haven't seen any pictures or anything like that, but barring he picked up any sort of setback, then he would have trained on Sunday. So you would think Martinelli is going to be fit to play in this one. Tomiyasu and Partey trained again on Saturday. They had big long trips in the international break, obviously, when they were representing Ghana and Japan, but both trained fully on Saturday. They've had the extra day. A lot of the internationals for some of the teams have been far and away around the globe, didn't start in the Premier League at the weekend, but Arsenal having these extra couple of days will certainly help with Thomas Partey and Tomiyasu just being past match fit and ready to play. I expect both of them will start tonight, so that's a boost. So squad night is just really Granit Xhaka at the moment, just that long-term injury to Granit Xhaka. Everyone else seems to be fit, which is good news for Arsenal and good news certainly for Mikel Arteta. Okay, before I go, I'm going to end with my predicted 11 for tonight's game. And like I said, this isn't what I would go for or anything like that. It's not based on any information. It's just what I'm predicting Mikel Arteta will go. And to be honest, this Arsenal team now, it pretty much picks itself, apart from, as I said at the start of this video, just a couple of issues at the moment, mainly due to the fact that Granit Xhaka is injured. If Xhaka was fit, I think this Arsenal team now, for the first time in a long time, you pretty much know what the starting 11 is going to be. So here's what I think we will see tonight for Arsenal. Aaron Ramsdale in goal, obviously, going with the back four of Tomiyasu, right back, Ben White and Gabriel. At centre back, Kieran Tierney. At left back, then I'm going to go with the central midfield pair of Sambi and Thomas Partey. And then up front, the three behind Aubameyang who will start. I'm going to go with Saka, Odegaard and Smith Rowe. And then obviously Aubameyang as the central striker. So that's what I think. That's what I'm predicting Mikel Arteta will go for tonight. Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Sambi, Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Let me know what your starting 11 would be tonight if you were standing in Mikel Arteta's shoes, and please always let me know your predictions, how you think the game's going to go, what Arteta should do. Always interested to get your views. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. Just one more time, I'm not going to be at the game tonight. Apologies, because of some family stuff I've got going on, so I need to be around here. I'll be covering it though from home, watching it on the TV, doing a press conference and doing all the usual stuff as well. So look, enjoy the game tonight, everyone, wherever you're watching around the world. Fingers crossed we can sit here tomorrow, do another video and discuss 3 very important points. Have a good day.